Well, we're so fortunate to have our Pakistan correspondent who's just broken away from the talks in Lahore. Osama Rizvi, Global Market and Product Strategist at Primary Vision. Uh, Osama, are these talks fictional? Do they exist? Is there actually people in a building? Or is it a bit like going to the moon in 1969? It's an amazing set. There's nice lighting, there's shadows, but ultimately there's no reality. What's your reading on all of this?
Well, thank you, Sean, for having me today. I think the talks are absolutely real. We have seen a lot of
Meaning there's
developments.
people in a room talking to each
Yes,
other.
yes, people, high-level delegates. Um, but
Do we
the
consider the Saudi, Egyptian, and Turkish foreign ministers to be meaningful actors on the global stage and so can choreograph such a negotiation?
Well, that's a very important point. On the surface level, or as far as we concerned regarding Pakistan's role in the mediation, because there has been a history of us negotiating in such sensitive matters, especially in the regional wars. And right now, Pakistan, as I continue to say, has probably one of the biggest, downside to what is happening, not only in economic terms, but diplomatic and socially slash political as well. So we are trying to do our best. And first things first, I want to sort of set the record straight that there has been a lot of negotiations behind the door, meetings going on. Our Prime Minister spoke with Pezeshkian, the Iranian president. Then our Chief of Army Staff spoke with, after 3 days after that, with Donald Trump. The tweet of our Prime Minister was also retweeted by Trump. So there are some things going on in the background. But will it be successful? I think the biggest issue that we are facing right now, and I've spoken to a few people in Islamabad where these talks are actually happening, the biggest issue is that this time the Iranians are not trusting anyone, and they have good precedent for that. And I think the biggest issue or challenge for all the parties involved is going to be to restore or to at least alleviate that trust deficit in the coming months. Because right now we are seeing at one point negotiations, etc. But on the other hand, talks of ground offensive and a long 1 month long war by Pentagon. This does not sit well with anyone who is involved in the negotiation. So I've spoken to people and they're saying that they're trying our best, but this time they have categorically told Pakistan even that we are not going to go ahead until those 5 point agendas versus the 15 point agenda they meet somewhere. But the problem is there are conflicting points on both of the sides, and I think it is not going to be easy this time at all.
Osama, can you sort of give us a sense? I mean, you mentioned there that there is some track record of performance by Pakistan to play a role, a mediating role here. I was talking to somebody the other day who said, no, no, it's not the prime minister that you need to be looking at of credibility in Pakistan. It's the head of the army. Uh, and we've talked before about the unique demographic makeup of Pakistan, obviously vulnerabilities to the regional makeup. We've the first deaths of the war, I think, happened on the streets of Pakistan with the demonstrations at the U.S. embassy. What gives the Pakistani some credibility here to really try and move this forward? Your thoughts on that?
That's, if there was a checklist, and I have given it a thought as well. First, I thought I was in doubt, right, whether Pakistan can actually play some role or not. But then, when you look at the makeup of the world right now, diplomatic, economic, otherwise, Pakistan, of course, has a very good inkling or know-how of how does the Shia Muslim and their ideologies and how do they work. We have 20 to 30% population here is Shia. Then, can you hear me? Of course. Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Then we are truly neutral in this regard. We have categorically shared that we have condemned the war, the strikes by Israel and US, but we have also condemned Iranian retaliation. So we are sort of following that classic multi-vector textbook multi-vector policy. On the other hand, The recent negotiations, the recent talks between Iranian officials, they have only spoken with Pakistan. And I wonder why. We share a 900-kilometer border with them. And there is a lot of trade, although undocumented, but as I think $3 to $4 billion of trade happening between both the countries. Lots of movement of people happening between both the countries, and all of these pointers. And Pakistan has no U.S. base. Pakistan has no US base, has not provided anything. Our foreign minister has also conveyed this to Iran that we have sort of an Article 5 type of thing going on with Saudi Arab. So we will have to jump in if they are struck more. Finally, the chief of army staff, the one you just referred to, he held a very important meeting with all the Shia clerics here in the country. I think it was a week ago or something. It was talk of the town. And supposedly, in that meeting, it was a closed meeting, but in that meeting, he was very categorical about being supportive of a solution, not sort of encouraging sectarian hatred or not banking upon what is happening, because this has been happening in the past in Pakistan. So, I mean, all of these indicators tell me that, okay, maybe the US, as Neil said, US and Israelis and Iranians, they may not be talking to anyone meaningful in their own, but there are countries like Pakistan and all of these others that are trying to have an actual impact on this, because the stake for Saudi Arabia cannot be higher.
You've been getting some passes for Pakistan, but ultimately Pakistan and Asia are very vulnerable here. How do you read those passes that Pakistan is getting, and do you expect them to continue?
Well, I was going to mention in the last question as well that another angle or another perspective, another reason that why Pakistan, I think it's doing something here is that we have been getting a lot of, like, one of the few countries from even from the beginning that have been allowed to get some tankers. Last week, I think 8 to 10 tankers came. I don't know what was, like, they were Aframax or what, but I think we have gotten supply until the 24th or 25th of April. Nevertheless, we're still doing rationing and smart lockdowns. I
To
think,
be fair,
uh,
I mean, I was thinking that maybe it was because it's not in Iran's interest right now to have social unrest in Pakistan between the ethnic parties, and that's their self-interest here rather than being generous citizens.
of course, and they have managed to sort of turn the whole region against them by retaliation and everything. So they may not want another strong ally in the region, at least Pakistan, a nuclear power, sharing once again 900 kilometers of border with them, trade $3 to $5 billion to turn against them as well. However, this can stop as well. I think the talks going on are very critical, and if we tend to play if there is any further aggression, and Pakistan or the countries involved, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, they're trying to toot or peddle or promote some other narrative that can also result into a mistrust between even these partners. So that is a very important thing that we need to look at. And just lastly, very quickly, we were talking about the future of this. I think when analyzing this war, we have to also look at the eschatological domain. I think I've said it before, the ends of times, religious aspect of it. And Sean, when you consider that, the geopolitical tensions or aggression, especially by Israel, I think it is not going to stop. It is going to get worse in the coming years. No analysis of this war would be complete without this very important dimension.